expenses if I have a W-2 and a 1099?
So usually, generally speaking, on a W-2, there's nothing you can deduct business-wise against it. If you had expenses, that you incurred in order to get your W-2 income, they took that section away with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act back in 17. It used to be part of the miscellaneous 2% on Schedule A. That's all gone. So we usually, in a general sense, say you can't really deduct any business expenses against your W-2. Now, you may have other things going on in your returns that help offset that, but it's not going to be related to your W-2 income. The 1099 might give you some opportunity. Here's a lot of potential here. If you had enough 1099 coming in, you might want to have it set to an S corporation or a C corporation, either one, where you can take advantage of all accountable plan reimbursements, corporate meetings. Maybe if you paid yourself a wage out of that, you could put into retirement. So that's your real game plan here. I think in the 1099, if you, let's say you made $10,000, we'll probably be looking at more, 50,000 at 1099, might put that in an S corporation where you have all these reimbursements, get some of that money back to you tax-free, and probably save on some employment taxes, et cetera. You're going to just get a lot of business deductions. There you can deduct the business-related expenses as well. So I think that's probably your best opportunity here.
Yeah, so W-2, the only other things you could do with W-2 is HSAs, IRAs, deductions that you would take against your typical return, Schedule A, my charitable donations, my business or my medical expenses that exceed 10% of my adjusted gross income, things like that. But you're not going to get to write off any business expenses against it. But your 1099, you can. And that's what it really boils down to. So, so I have one cell phone, right? Like, depending on how I set myself up, what kind of business I use, if I use an S Corp, for example, or an LLC taxed as an S Corp or a C Corp, or an LLC taxed as a C Corp, or even a nonprofit, I can reimburse 100% of that expense, 100% of that cost. As an individual, I can never write it off, right? So sometimes there's a appetite. If I get 1099 and I decide to be a Schedule C, sole proprietor, I can write off the business portion of certain assets, of certain things I use, like my cell phone. Again, if it's 10% business, I could write off 10%, whatever it costs. If it's $200 a month, I can write off $20, slow clap. It's not going to get you much. So you might be like, all right, maybe I need to look at what my expenses are. There's a lot of analysis we do as we're adding up, seeing what your tax appetite is. Hey, if we pull this lever over here, is it going to unlock enough benefit to justify the expense of pulling the lever? So if the lever costs $1,000 to pull, but you get $7,000 of benefit, you might do that. And especially if that's $7,000 a year, right? Like, then it becomes a no-brainer. But that's the type of stuff you're looking at. HSA might not cost you anything. You're looking at that going, hey, should I put money into an HSA? For a lot of you guys, it's a no-brainer, right? It's just like, hey, if I qualify, if I have a high deductible insurance, I could put for a family over $7,000 a year into a HSA. I get a deduction for it. It grows tax-free. And if I use it for medical, I don't pay any tax at all. I could eventually even make that thing. I don't think I can, no, that's not the one. I can roll into a Roth, but it's treated just the same.
Very similar.
Eventually I lose the 10%. I think at 65, I don't have any penalties for taking it out for anything other than medical. I think I pay tax on it when it comes out if I don't use it for health. But we know we're going to have health expenses. You can use it for deductibles. You can use it for out-of-pocket expenses. You could even use it for certain types of premium. It just, it's just, there's some rules there, but you're looking at that as an opportunity against your W-2. Otherwise, the name of the game is businesses, and that 1099 falls squarely within that definition. So if you have both, you could really, it's usually good to sit with the tax professional and figure out whether you can wipe out a whole bunch of the stuff you're incurring that you don't get to write off otherwise by using that 1099. Even if you zero it out, a lot of you guys might be surprised to find out that you don't pay any tax on that income and it's still in your pocket. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Got 20 grand. I thought I had to pay tax on that. Oh,
not so much.
yep, you had a bunch of expenses you never got to write off here. We got it back out to you tax-free. Hey guys, if you like this snippet of Tax Tuesday, then I invite you to click the link and actually subscribe to become a Tax Tuesday member. Every other week, we do these live, and you too can ask your questions, and myself and my team will answer your questions on the next Tax Tuesday.